As the longest reigning pharaoh of Egypt, many people believe that Ramesses III must have been one of the greatest Egyptian rulers. But why did he leave no pyramids? And what does this tell us about him? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're talking about Pharaoh Ramesses III and why he didn't build any pyramids. Ramesses III ruled for 66 years between 1198 and 1163 BC during the 20th dynasty. The only ruler to beat him to the throne was Queen Hatshepsut, who co-ruled with her father, Thutmose III, and then as regent for her stepson, Amenhotep III. While Hatshepsut reigned for 21 years, Ramesses III beat her by a whopping 45 years. If we were to compare this to today, it would be like someone becoming president in their 30s and then dying while still in office at age 95. It's pretty mind-boggling to imagine anyone staying in power that long. But how did he manage to stay in power for so long? The first reason is he had a lot of practice. He was the fourth-born son of Ramesses II and his great royal wife, Nefertari. When he was only 2 years old, his father made him his heir apparent, which is when he received the royal name Ramesses. He was then given the title of Great of Praises, which was usually only bestowed upon the pharaoh's consort. And finally, he was also given the title of Overseer of the King's Works, which shows that from a very young age, he was being groomed for the throne. By the time Ramesses II died, Ramesses III was already 55 years old and had been preparing to rule for more than half his life. So even though he ruled for an extremely long time, it really wasn't that surprising because he had been trained for it since before he could walk. Another reason why Ramesses III was able to reign for so long was due to the fact that he took the throne at a time when Egypt was relatively peaceful. This allowed him to focus on internal matters rather than going to war. For example, he was able to work on massive building projects throughout the kingdom or to engage in trading missions. In fact, during his reign, Egypt reached its wealthiest point yet. Although Ramses III's reign was mostly peaceful, he still had to fight a few battles, including the Battle of Kadesh. His father, Ramses II, fought against the Hittites near the city of Kadesh. The battle ended in a stalemate after 4 hours of fighting, but his father managed to negotiate a peace treaty with the Hittite king, Hattusili III. It was the first recorded peace treaty in history, and it's believed that the peace between Egypt and the Hittites lasted for 125 years. Because of this treaty, Ramesses III never had to fight against the Hittites during his reign. He did, however, face threats from other kingdoms. During the 12th year of his reign, Libya became a threat to Egypt. They kept sending out raids to the eastern delta. Ramesses III led a campaign against them in which he defeated and killed over 5,000 Libyans. He even boasted about the victory in the 6th year of his 40th year, saying, "The enemy could not stand before me. I pursued them in my swift chariot. I struck them down. I hewed off their heads, and the shedding of blood made the waters red." The Nubians also gave him some trouble, but he handled that situation pretty easily. So even though Ramesses III had quite a few battles during his reign, he never went head-to-head against the Hittites. And the wars he did fight only happened at the beginning and middle of his reign, leaving him with plenty of time to focus on other areas of his kingdom. One of the things he focused on was building. During his reign, he built many temples and built parts of new cities, such as the city of Ramesses. Even though he didn't build any pyramids, he did renovate some that his father built. For example, he renovated the bent pyramid of his father, which was never actually finished, and the black pyramid of Amenemhat III. He may have also restored the Great Sphinx of Giza, but we don't know for sure. We do know that he completed several rock-cut temples, including the temple of his wife, Queen Iset, and the temple of Ptah at Karnak. These temples weren't the largest temples ever built, but they are beautifully decorated. In fact, the temple of Queen Iset is famous for its ceiling, which is decorated with stars, just like the night sky. Although these buildings aren't huge pyramids, they are still incredible feats of engineering and architecture. So now that we know how he spent his long reign, let's answer the big question. Why didn't he build any pyramids? Pyramids were last built during the 4th dynasty, with the last true pyramid being the Pyramid of Menkaure. That was 2,700 years before Ramesses III's reign. There was a small decline after this, which led to the building of smaller pyramids for the king's tombs. Then there was another decline until the end of the New Kingdom, which lasted from 1543 to 1292 BC. During this time, Egypt's economy struggled, and so did the power of the pharaohs. It wasn't until the 18th dynasty that things started looking up again. By the time Ramesses III came into power, pyramids were long out of style and no longer seen as the best way to honor the dead. Instead, rock-cut tombs were preferred. Many of these tombs were built along the Valley of the Kings, and this trend continued all the way to the end of the Egyptian Empire. Another reason why Ramesses III may not have built a pyramid was because he chose to focus on building temples instead. Building temples was a great way to honor the gods and show how powerful the pharaoh was. The temples would have been filled with treasures and gold, which could have appealed to Ramesses III much more than a large pyramid made of stone. Yet another reason why he didn't build a pyramid is because he broke away from tradition in other ways. Ramesses III decided to move his capital from Thebes to the south. He chose the city of Pi-Ramesses to be his new capital. He also chose to rename Thebes to Heraklion after Alexander the Great. At the time, Greek influence was growing in Egypt, and Ramesses III seemed to be embracing it. Finally, Ramesses III's decision not to build pyramids may have been a practical one. As we mentioned earlier, his father had renovated several pyramids, and building pyramids can be dangerous. Many workers die either from the elements or from collapsing structures. Ramesses III may have simply thought it wasn't worth the risk. After considering all these possibilities, it seems clear that Ramesses III didn't build any pyramids because he didn't want to. He broke away from tradition many times during his reign and decided to leave his mark in other ways. He truly wanted to be remembered as a powerful builder and a god on earth, and he definitely accomplished that. It's also interesting to note that although Ramesses III didn't build any pyramids, he loved everything about them. One of his favorite activities was hunting, and he decorated his hunting lodge with treasures from the pyramids. He even excavated the pyramid of his favorite wife, Nefertari, so that he could take her treasures when she died. What do you think of Ramesses III? Would you have built pyramids if you were him? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe for more videos about ancient Egypt.